Michelle was fun, lively, like a big child. It's like she never grew up. The female Peter Pan.
She was my best friend, yeah. She's the only one that's ever stuck there, always been there.
Mine and my mum's relationship was a good relationship. We didn't hide anything. Growing up as a teenager, we got on really close. She was always there for us, no matter what. The last time I seen my mum alive was my 21st birthday. We went to my Auntie Marie's to celebrate.
It's going. Rob, quick.
Oh, that's cute.
That's a good place to be. Where's your camera?
December the 4th, 2004, phoned up about 10 o'clock at night. She seemed tired, so I said, I'll let you go and I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Within 24 hours, I had a phone call from Mum asking if you see Michelle. I heard from Michelle. Tracy called. Can't get hold of her.
And I was starting to get worried, this gut feeling, but I thought, nah, she's gone off it. She'll be back.
I first heard the name Michelle Gunshan on the morning of the 8th of December, when the phone went from the crime manager. Michelle's car wasn't parked where it should have been, and there was blood.
When we heard that they'd found blood in the car, my stomach just sunk.
It's like watching this storm brew. It's this big grey cloud in the background. You're looking at it going, please don't rain. Please don't rain.
At a very early stage, we recognised that Michelle's disappearance was more than just a missing person. It was, in fact, a homicide.
Michelle's family had to wait 7 long years before her killer could face justice.
You watch many programmes and documentaries on TV, you just don't think something's going to happen to your own family. My mum was born in Islington on the 19th of August 1966. She grew up in London.
The first day I met Michelle, we were about 11 years old. First day at secondary school, I walked into the class and I saw this little girl at the back with her little black bob hair. And I went over and introduced myself, and yeah, we just inseparable, as we were told, inseparable.
I always called Michelle Auntie Michelle because she's always been there. I couldn't think of any other title that I could give her. I remember she'd come in and it would be like, kids, get your coats. And you knew you were going on an adventure or something fun was going to happen.
Me and my mum had a really good times. We used to go and see Diana Ross and to take us on family holidays, camping, the New Forest. There was good holidays.
With Tracy, it was like having another sister. We were all just family, all the kids were always together doing something, laughing, running around, rolling down hills. Michelle brought out the child in all of us and making sure that we all had fun.
It did go quiet between us, good 10 years, and then it was 2004. Suddenly I get a knock at the door, tap, tap, tap on the door. And I opened the door, my jaw dropped to the floor. And I said, I don't believe it. I was just literally just talking about you 10 minutes ago. haven't seen you for 10 years. Whoa, you're back. You're back. She goes, yeah, I'm back for good this time. We've got a new man.
He was a good person. He was a good man. He treated his mum well.
Michelle was doing some security work at this time. She would go off and do her job, like be out overnight. The last time I saw Michelle, she invited me around for dinner. And after dinner, she said, oh, I want me to read your cards. I said, what, tarot cards? You got tarot cards? And she's like, yeah. Oh, let me do your cards. Come on, give them a shuffle. I don't believe in anything like that, but I shuffled them and she dealt them out. And I can't remember all the cards that she pulled out, but she said, well, the gods are watching over you, whatever happens. After that, she did hers, one of the cards. She said, oh, there's going to be a new man in my life. She seemed troubled by the card.
In December 2004, I was living in Manchester. My mum was working at the NEC clothes show. Sometime on the 5th of December, I received a phone call from a manager. Your mum's gone missing.
Tracy phoned me. Said, what's wrong? Because I was just worrying because trying to get hold of mum. She's not turned up for work. I just dismissed it because I thought, well, this is Michelle kind of thing. She will go off, just get her head together and she'll pop up somewhere, and come back.
I think I said to Mum, she'll probably turn up at yours with some fireworks and a drink, I
phoned all the hospitals in and around Birmingham and I was sat there till 3 in the morning. There was no sightings of my mum at all.
Michelle was working as a security guard, and on the 3rd of December and the 4th, she did a shift at the new exhibition centre. After a shift, she was having a drink with friends at the Dubliner in Birmingham. She'd had to stay there because her original hotel, the premises had been flooded.
Today, the Dubliner still exists, but it is in a different format. So now it is a rock venue. The Dubliner was a popular Irish pub. It was known for being quite lively, for having live music. At the time of Michelle's disappearance, there were rooms upstairs in the pub that were available to rent on a B&B basis.
Michelle's two colleagues agreed that they would meet up later in the evening for a drink in the bar. They went to their rooms. Just before 9:30, Michelle hadn't joined, so one of them went to see her and saw her in her room. That's the last time anybody saw Michelle alive other than a killer. About an hour later, 10:30ish time, we know she speaks to her partner and her daughter on the phone. Again, that's the last time anybody spoke to her other than a killer that we know of.
The following morning, 2 of her colleagues went to her room to see whether she was ready to go to carry out a further shift, but they could find no trace of her. Some of her personal belongings, including her mobile telephone, were in her room. She'd had 27 missed calls.
"20 years ago, this was a bedroom, and there was a bed where I'm standing. On it was Michelle's belongings, including the mobile phone with the 27 missed phone calls. However, at 5 o'clock, when they came back to check the room, her belongings had gone. At about 9:30 on the Sunday, her colleagues went out onto Mill Lane, which is where she'd parked her blue Ford Escort, and it wasn't there. So they had to make a decision, and that was need to formally report Michelle missing to the police.
I didn't sleep for about 3 days. I tried to be normal for my younger brother. I tried to hold things together. No, it was a blur.
We spoke every day on the phone, many times through the day, having daily chats.
I was scared doing that press conference.
Mum was fun loving and would talk to anyone. I know my mum loves me and my family, and that she would never left us on our own free will.
No recall of doing it.
The police came to interview all of us, asking standard question, any reason for her going missing, any suspicions, all the usual easy stuff.
When somebody is reported missing to the police, you make an assessment. Is it high, medium or standard risk? And that will determine the investigative focus.
We're all creatures of habit to a greater or lesser degree. And that means that we frequent places, we use mobile telephones, we access our bank accounts, we meet people. And in Michelle's case, all those things came to an abrupt end.
When the car was found on the 7th, that was when that cloud really hit.
Michelle initially parked her car next to the Dubliner pub in Mill Lane. Mill Lane runs between the Dubliner and the coach station. When it was found abandoned on the 7th, it was about half a mile away on Ray Street. We are about 5 minutes walking distance from the Dubliner pub. Where this car is parked is roughly where Michelle's blue Ford Escort was discovered at about 2:15 on the 7th of December, which is the day after she was reported missing. What was readily apparent to the officer that found the car was its state. It had got thick mud deposited on the wheels, the wheel arches, the wing, the door frame, the under panel. This is an inner city area. We haven't got muddy rural lanes. There isn't anywhere where you could drive through and capture so much mud on a car. That was unusual.
A cursory and initial examination of the car revealed that there were bloodstains, and also in the boot was what was believed to be Michelle's fluorescent work jacket, which also bore bloodstains on the inner surface. When you find a car with bloodstains, that is very, very indicative of something sinister having occurred to Michelle. Andy Hoff was assigned as the senior investigating officer, and he made all the initial inquiries, began a CCTV trawl, and then inquiries were also commenced at the pub.
Phone records are incredibly important. It shows the movements of the individual on the day of their murder. It shows who they might have been in contact with. And all of these things can provide clues as to where the individual ended up meeting their death.
It was the case of identifying, tracking her movements on the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th as best we could.
There was a history of missed calls, predominantly from Tracy, but there was nothing of any significant nature that at that stage would move the inquiry on.
Statistically, women are more likely to be murdered by somebody that is known to them, a partner, it might be a sibling, it could be a friend, it could be an ex-partner.
Michelle's estranged husband was spoken to by officers. He, by default, is a person of interest to the inquiry because they are estranged. He's also the father of one of the children. So it is important, but we quickly identified that he wasn't in Birmingham at the time, and we could formally eliminate him as being involved in a disappearance.
On the 9th of December, images were recovered from 2 speed cameras, one on the Hagley Road and one on the Bristol Road. Those depicted Michelle's car being driven in excess of the speed limit through or beyond those cameras.
This is 8:30 in the morning. You can see Michelle's car quite clearly. It's clean. There isn't any mud deposits on the wheels or on the wheel arches or the side of the car. If you look at the driver's seat, there is a clear image of the back of a male. And if you look in the near side mirror, you can see an outline of their face. And you can see the seatbelt. So somebody is sat in that seat with the seatbelt on. You can see a mop of black hair by the headrest, and we believe that's Michelle seatbelted into the passenger seat.
I remember being shown the CCTV of someone driving my mum's car. At the time, we just wanted answers. Who was it?
Further footage of Michelle's car recovered from the 10th of December was very grainy, was very unclear, but seemed to show what might have been described as potentially some frenetic activity by Michelle's car.
We see Michelle's car leaving Mill Lane just after 7 o'clock in the morning. There is an image of something or somebody going to the car. Can't determine who it is, whether it's 1 or 2 people, but we've got enough to say that's her car coming out of Ray Street and driving away.
I think when you see those images, it really just adds to the fear that Michelle has been subject of very serious assault and indeed worse. Controlled circumstances, the licensee of the Dubliner pub was shown the images, and he was able to say with almost certainty that the person depicted driving the vehicle was in fact Martin Stafford.
Martin Stafford was working at the Dublin Hotel. He had a job collecting glasses at the time.
Martin Stafford was a 44-year-old man who didn't really have a fixed abode, quite possibly due to the number of criminal offences that he had in his history.
Stafford had already got 23 offences committed in Ireland, including sexual offences.
He is fitting the profile of somebody who is of real interest to me. Martin Stafford was actually stopping in the same set of flats as Michelle. He left the Dubliner either on the Monday or the Tuesday of that week. So he's now gone without reason.
Serial sex offenders are unable to control their urges, so sex offences can increase in severity in order to get the same response and the same pleasure. He needs to find his victims, he may need to increase the intensity and the frequency of these crimes as well, and that means that this person is a highly dangerous individual.
In Ireland, he basically burgled a factory and he indecently assaulted and stripped the 2 cleaners who were female, and he locked them in a cabinet overnight.
He's a glass collector in a pub. It's unlikely they'd be doing criminal record checks or security checks on him. He has very easy access to victims. He has an opportunity as a perpetrator to stand and observe, work out which individuals might be alone, who might be vulnerable, and that position gave him an opportunity to do that and to ultimately identify his next victim.
Stafford stayed with an associate man that ultimately we were able to trace. And during the course of his staying with the man, they spoke about if they had a body to dispose of, how they would do it. And staff had actually told him I would dump it in some building footings somewhere around Birmingham, knowing that the workmen would come and cover the remains in concrete.
Having identified Stafford in the car, I can declare him a suspect. That enables me to get a search warrant, so I can do a forensic sweep of his room for any material that may be relevant. We took the bed sheet in because we know he's got sexual offences in his past. Could he have sexually assaulted Michelle in his room before he's taken her in the car? So we took the bed linen and we prioritised that to the scientists at the lab. The picture that I'm looking at now is a photograph of Michelle's fluorescent jacket that was taken from her car. You can see on the inner lining of the back there is blood staining here and then up the central spine of the coat. It's contact blood, which means it's been in contact with her body when she's been bleeding.
On the 13th of December, we had confirmation that the blood found on the car and on her fluorescent jacket was that of Michelle's. And it really just added to our worst fears that Michelle had been subject of a very, very serious attack and was possibly deceased.
Michelle was last seen alive here at the Dubliner pub in Digbeth at 9:30 p.m. on the 4th of December. Michelle's car triggered 2 speed cameras the following Tuesday on the Hagley Road in Birmingham and here on the Bristol Road. The driver of that car has been identified as Martin Stafford. The following day, he caught a coach to Dublin from here at Digbeth coach station. Now, he'd been staying just 2 doors away from Michelle in a Dubliner pub at the time of her disappearance.
Within 24 hours of my mum's disappearance, I knew my mum was dead. I had a gut instinct. I just knew. And I had to hide that away from family.
With Michelle, I was used to having gaps with her not being there. She'd go back to Manchester or she'd be working away. But within 24 hours, I think we all had this kind of niggling at the back, like, it's not right. Something's not right. She would have got in contact or she would have turned up at mum's or here.
I didn't sleep for about 3 days. The media ended up outside my mum's front door. So I literally opened the door, told him to go away, shut the door.
I just convinced myself that she'd just walked off. Nothing had happened, but when they found the car and the jacket in the back and there was blood on it and mud on the car, and it kind of started to sink in. I was just thinking, oh, she's out there and she's freezing, she's cold, she's laying in a ditch. Where is she?
The murder of an individual, it destroys the family and the friends of that victim. To know that someone has hurt somebody that you love in unthinkable ways, I would argue that people quite possibly never come to terms with it, unfortunately.
The Ford Escort was subjected to a very, very thorough forensic examination. There were semen stains that were found on the front passenger seats of Michelle's car, which were obviously very, very significant.
On the 17th of December, we got the result that we were hoping for, which was semen staining on the car seat matched Stafford's bed linen. On the same day as the semen stain result, we also identified that he's wanted for 2 matters by the Metropolitan Police. An allegation of rape, and he's also on bail for a case of indecent assault against a man. We got confirmation from CCTV at Holyhead that Stafford had boarded the ferry. So we now know he's gone to Dublin.
When Stafford arrived at Dublin, he relocated to a local coach company to make his next move. He was throwing another passengers' cases about that were in the hold of the coach. Whilst this was taking place, a woman intervened to say, "Will you stop throwing my luggage around?" And to which a reply from Stafford was, "You want to be careful of, I've already put one woman down, you'll be the next."
I sent my deputy SIO over to meet the police in Ireland to talk about what inquiries can they make on our behalf and identify where Stafford is, and also for them to manage any risk that he may pose to other individuals, particularly women.
It was a torture, wondering when we'd be able to catch him and bring him back to answer the police's questions.
I think when I first heard his name, that's when it really hit home that something horrific had happened. He had a history of keeping women against their will and locking them in cupboards or something. You tried to hold on to hope, but you just knew this was it.
With offenders like this, what we're seeing is that the crimes are escalating in severity, now resulting in a murder. I would expect that he will lie low for a short period of time, probably enjoying the feeling and processing that feeling, and then he would look at acting again. So for the police, it's really important that they catch him now before he has the chance to do this to any other woman.
In the new year, the paleontologist contacted me to say that she had found pollen debris within the soil deposits around the wheels that was indicative of being from the Frankley area of Birmingham.
A paleontologist can examine the soil for fibres, plants, and other things that will make it potentially unique to a particular location.
Frankley is on the western side of Birmingham, the northeastern side of Worcestershire. You've got a busy motorway, rolling hills, lots of country lanes, a reservoir. It looked like an obvious place to look.
It's a wide open space, lots of greenery. The sort of place where one could understand an offender wanting to dispose of a body. There were searches conducted, but unfortunately they proved to be fruitless, and sadly we found no trace of Michelle Gunshun's body.
In the middle of January, we know Stafford is in Ireland and we're preparing a file for extradition back to the UK. I also started a proof of life investigation, which was, can we prove that Michelle is still alive? We had to go through her yearly routine to establish on this day she would have sent a birthday card, for example. She hasn't been to the hairdresser, she hasn't been to the dentist. You know, everything she would do on a day-to-day basis hasn't happened. The presumption is she is dead.
Every investigator's fear is when they investigate a no-body murder, wants to do their utmost to find the missing body or remains. And it's a matter of frustration, regret, upset, and when that can't be achieved.
In early March of 2005, we get the call from the police in Ireland. Stafford has committed a new offence. He's abducted a girl and he's kept her prisoner in a railway carriage. She managed to escape, but he's been arrested. We now know that he is likely to go to trial, and if found guilty, is going to receive a lengthy custodial sentence, which he did. It was important to know that Stafford would face justice. He wasn't going to present a risk to anybody else, but it was a waiting game.
When Stafford was sentenced, the case came to a natural end in the sense that there was nothing else left to do. We had to wait until we could get Stafford back to the UK.
So it was a case of get your ducks lined up and we wait.
So that was the bike ride day. We just crashed out, basking in the sun with that stupid hat on that eye, inside out. We would go out on bike rides, climb trees, you know, not girly things. We weren't girly or anything, you know. Don't sit there putting makeup, none of that. Just tie your hair back or just let it go wild, you know. We were wild, I suppose. Free. We like to be free.
Michelle's family were aware that we had a strong suspect and sufficient evidence for the matter to go to trial. But we were not able to make a promise that we would be able to find Michelle's body. That would remain something that we would have to continually try and progress.
I started having nightmares of my mum rotting in a house and other nightmares as well. I found out I was pregnant in May 2005. That wanted my mum. Just didn't have my mum to tell. My mum was very family orientated. She kept all the family together. In 2008, I did a memorial service for my mum. Family attended, police attended, friends. My son Reese also attended and he was 2 years old. My granddad David wrote a letter just for what my mum was like. My daughter Michelle, she was always a happy child and a good one too.
Just made us all choke up because it just hit home, and it's like a funeral, but it's without the body. It's as close as we're going to get to putting her to rest.
police contacted me to say that Martin Stafford was getting extradited. I asked the police, was my mum raped? The police responded, we are charging Martin Stafford with rape. That was the hardest thing I ever had to understand.
Stafford is eventually extradited back to the UK on Tuesday the 13th of December 2011. He appears before the magistrates in Birmingham the following day. All we are permitted to do is to take a sample to test his DNA so that we have an evidential sample to match to the bed linen and the semen stain in the car. We are not permitted to interview him. That is the legislation, that is the law. He can volunteer to talk to us, but we can't start that conversation. So we never interviewed him. All we were able to do was get a swab for the DNA, charge him, put him before the court.
When I knew he was going to face charges for my mum, I felt relieved in a way. My questions may be answered.
On the 17th of July 2012, the trial of Stafford for the murder and rape of Michelle Gunshan began.
When I first saw Martin Stafford, I found him impossible to read. I gained the impression that he was an individual that had a lifestyle of abuse. Clearly drink and drugs had taken its toll, and really he was a man with no authority in the courtroom.
I attended the court every day for 10 days. The trial was hard, but I also wanted to listen to everything what they had against Martin Stafford.
He denied it all at first when he was in court, and it just made you angry.
Stafford seemingly has nothing to lose with his behaviours. If he ends up in prison, he ends up in prison. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't have a lot in the outside world to live for. The fact that he's gone to court and just denied it, to me, just says that he doesn't actually really care about this system whatsoever.
I was in the court when the jury returned their verdict, and of all the times in your professional career when you want something to go well, that is the time. When the jury returned a guilty verdict, I felt a great deal of relief. A great deal of relief. On the 31st of July 2012, following his conviction, Martin Stafford was sentenced to 33 years imprisonment.
I couldn't stop crying. It was like, yes, we've found him guilty.
I remember he still wouldn't tell us where she was, and I just found that very inhumane, like the one thing that you can do to make yourself look a bit more human. And he couldn't even give us that.
When the body isn't found, it really has an impact on the grieving process, because even in animals, the animals need to see the body of their, say, dead mate in order to be able to grieve and process and move on. Without that, the grieving process is affected. There's always going to be that question of, are they dead? What if they turn up? It's very hard to have closure. It's something that hangs over them for the rest of their lives.
In 2015, I was notified that Martin Stafford had passed away in prison, and the knowledge that there was no way of ever getting to Stafford to actually establish what he had done with Michelle's body really left a void and a feeling of just major upset and disappointment.
Mum phoned and told us that Martin Stafford passed away. And your first thought is, good, rotten hell. And then it kind of dawns, but he knows where she is. Definitely, I'm going to be able to get them answers now.
I felt angry. I just mainly was like, what about my mum now? All I think about when I go to Birmingham or anything is, where is she? It's cold. She never looked the cold.
I think the issue with Stafford all along has been about power and control. And this is him not telling them where the body is his one last attempt at some semblance of control and power in his life. And by keeping this information, he's able to keep some control over that crime.
I think after 20 years, it's highly unlikely that Michelle will be found. I hope that I'm wrong for the sake of Tracy and the rest of the family, but experience tells me that she won't be.
I go back to the conversation that Martin Stafford had about if he had a body to dispose of, he would put it in some building footing somewhere, and that may be the case.
Michelle's remains will only be found by accident, unless there is a prisoner who served time with Stafford and he told them he let slip where she was. We know she was killed, we know she was raped, but she's still a missing person, and that hasn't changed. That bothers me.
I miss her. I do miss her. I'll never have a friend like her, ever. You have friends that come and go. She was one of those friends that would be there forever, except somebody took her away. So, yeah.
"20 years on, it still really hurts because of the not knowing. We don't have anywhere to go, and obviously this is the place where she was last seen. Part of me feels like a little bit closer to my mum when I come and lay flowers. My mum was spontaneous, funny, outgoing. My mum means everything. She's the world. I love my mum very much, and I miss her every day. Hopefully one day she'll come home.